change. I said change. Change is gonna come. Change. Change is gonna come. In our United States of isolation, station to creation on the sacred ground. We talk mom and apple pie, do or die, a hole in the sky buys another round. Articulation and a reclamation of the declaration's what we need. To attack and we can't counteract and retract hypocrisy and greed. You see the stories we were sold, freedom good as gold. We are down but never out. Sex, race and gender, we are all contenders. Stop hate, prejudice and doubt. Hope leads the way, watch the children play, working for a better day, better pay and more safe. Watch our colors sway, and all the gods we pray. Change, change is gonna come. Change, change is gonna come. We are crossing your borders, we are out in your streets. When we walk in our power, our lives are so sweet. You say things will get better near heaven's gate, but our lives are precious and we cannot wait. I said change, change is gonna come. Change, change is gonna come. Change, change is gonna come. Change, change is gonna come.
Far away, a distant land, tempest tossed with hopeful hearts and countless tears, reach toward the light, torch held high, cast their gaze upon the Lady of Love, and she welcomes them with open arms. She says that my children shine,
Make sure they're working. Give me a second.
shine on, oh you Lady
Do you have a mend? This is Pro Mic. Pro Mic. Which one it is? Hey, hey.
with my own king. They sailed from Sweden and from France and Ireland. Their earthly king, acting their backs, they cast their gaze upon the Lady of Love, and she welcomed them with open arms. She said that my children shine on, shine on, you Lady of Love. Now we're locking down the borders and we're filling up the jails, and we say they don't belong. and masses have a chance to learn to into our fears and turn our backs against the lady of the heart. And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children live. Shine on, oh you lady of the heart. Shine on, oh you lady of the heart. Shine on, oh you lady of the heart. Oh you lady of
of a man. Songs of more young kids rise, loading guns. Who's gonna lay those weapons down when your peace is won? No more charades in the house of America. No more lies and deception. We know what's been done. Massacre, majesty, a coronation for the chosen ones. Who's gonna wave your flag when the warmonger beats his drum? America.
welcome all to the opening ceremony of the 2015 General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations here in the City of Roses, Portland, Oregon. My name is Susan Peck, and I am honored to serve as your GA Music Coordinator this year. I would like to introduce my colleagues in the GA band who will keep our spirits singing all week. On drums, one of the most versatile jazz drummers in Portland, Timothy Rapp. On bass, laying down the fundamental groove, also from Portland, Tim Gilson. Covering keyboards from First Unitarian Church of Portland, Dustin Hunley. And on guitar, our GA band leader from Boston, Massachusetts, Mark David Buckles. Our first song is Gather the Spirit, written by UU singer-songwriter Jim Scott. Jim has blessed us with many compositions over the years as we gather for this 2015 General Assembly. I'm sorry, I turned 2 pages. As we gather for this 2015 General Assembly of Building a New Way, it feels important to ground us right in Unitarian Universalism. This beautiful song helps us do just that. The words will be on the big screens. For those of you participating online, you can turn to number 347 in Singing the Living Tradition. Let us sing while seated as folks continue to gather together. Our next song is For the Earth Forever Turning, Por la Tierra Sempiterna. We give thanks to Kim Oler for the gift of this song, and to Gaylord Smith for the Spanish translation in the purple hymnal, Las Voces del Camino. The words will be on the screens. For those of you watching at home, you'll find this as number 163 in the gray, or number 15 in the purple hymnal. We've invited UU Musicians Network member Angel de Armendi who serves our congregation in Tallahassee, Florida, to assist those of us who don't yet know the Spanish.
Thank you, Susan. Spanish is a phonetic language. The combination of consonants and vowels always sound the same, and there are only 5 vowel sounds: A, E, I, O, and U. So M and A is always ma, and P and O is always po. So for practice, repeat after me these 2 verses we'll be singing together. Por la tierra sempiterna, por el cielo y alto mar, por la vida que gozamos, cantamos hoy canción de paz. Por el mundo celebramos, por gozar de plenitud. Hoy cantamos regresando a nuestro paisaje verde azul.
Our worship leaders, the Reverend Leon Dunkley, the Associate Minister of Silver Spring, Maryland, co-ministers in the Sierra Foothills of Auburn, California, the Reverend Wendy Bartell and Lynn Gardner, the Reverend Lynn Gardner, are joining us. As we grounded in Gather the Spirit, let us allow ourselves to soar with this powerful hymn. We'll start with English. For the earth forever turning, for the skies, for every sea, for our lives, for all we cherish, sing we a joyful song of peace. Por la tierra sempiterna, por el cielo y alto mar, por la vida que gozamos, cantamos hoy canción de paz. For the mountains, hills, and pastures in their silent majesty, for the stars, for all the heavens, sing we a joyful song of peace. For the sun, for rain and thunder, for the seasons' harmony, for our lives, for all creation, sing we a joyful praise to thee. Por el mundo celebramos, por gozar de plenitud. Hoy cantamos regresando a nuestro paisaje verde azul. All the world we raise our voices for the hope that gives us birth. In our joy we sing, returning home to the blue-green hills of earth.
Grounding, soaring, and now rejoicing. For you watching at home, turn to number 361 in Singing the Living Tradition, or number 65 in Las Voces del Camino. We give thanks to Reverend Lilia Cuervo for the Spanish translation and Luis Puspini for composing Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Let's practice the words we'll sing in Spanish by repeating after me. Ven, ven, alégrate hoy.
Ven, ven, alégrate hoy.
Es un día muy feliz. No tengas miedo a cambiar.
What a blessing it is for us to come together. We now welcome UUA moderator Jim Key. Michael Gwynn, member of the Unitarian Society of Santa Barbara, California. And Dr. Glenn Thomas Rideout, Director of Music at the First UU Congregation of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Let us rejoice and sing. Ven, alégrate hoy. Ven, ven, alégrate hoy. Es un día muy feliz. Ven, ven, alégrate hoy. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of the change. Don't be afraid of the change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. No tengas miedo a cambiar. No tengas miedo a cambiar. Es hoy un día muy feliz. Ven, alégrate hoy. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. We are going to briefly teach you a song that we're going to sing together at the end of the service tonight. The Reverend Wendy Bartell, Michael Glenn Thomas, and I are going to help all of us learn this song.
Good evening. This song, Love One Another, is used with permission from the First Unitarian Universalist Nashville Youth Group, who wanted something a bit more upbeat to dance to when we're marching for justice. So along with Reverend Jason Shelton, they co-created this song. And they shared it at Phoenix GA, Justice GA. We will need collaboration when we build new ways together. Collaboration as in this song. And each of us has a part in that collaboration, and each of us has a part in this song. For those of you who have a lower voice, by whatever identity you have low voice, I mean that seriously, it's not a joke, low voices, you're going to sing with Michael. All right? Michael here in the middle, waving there we go. And the words are, especially for those of you watching at home, let us love, let us serve, let us honor one another. Yes, oh, let us love, let us serve, let us honor, let us love one another. Blah, blah, blah. Michael?
Oh, let us love, oh, let us serve, let us honor one another. Yes, let us love.
Let's have everybody try that. Serve, oh, let us honor one another. Yes, oh, let us love, oh, let us serve, oh, let us honor one another. Yes, all right. So those of you who have the middle voice, but for now everybody will sing it, but the middle voice is going to follow Glenn Thomas, who's singing the melody. For those of you who are listening from home, those words are love one another, serve one another, honor one another, as equals hand in hand is the first part. The second part repeats that. Love one another, serve one another, honor one another. That's how we understand. So, middle voices will sing that later on at the end of the service, but for now, let's just have everybody try it.
Love one another, serve hand in hand. Love one another, serve one another, honor one another. That's how we understand. Love one another, serve one another, honor one another as equals hand in hand. Love one another, serve one another, honor one another. That's how we understand.
Wonderful. Sounding fantastic. The high part, Susan Peck is going to help us with that descant. Let us love, love, love. Fun anticipation. Follow her, because sometimes it's on the beat, sometimes it's off the beat.
1, 2. Let us love. Let us love, love, love. Let us love. Let us love, love, love. There you go. Let us love. Let us love, love, love.
And we're going to put it all together, right? We're going to put it all together, right? Let's start at the bottom. We're going to do the whole thing later, so I know it's going to be hard to stop, but we're going to save it. We'll start with the low part.
1, 2.
Oh, let us love.
So if you have a low voice, go ahead and join him.
Oh, let us honor one another. Yes, oh, let us love. Oh, let us serve. Oh, let us honor
Now the middle part's going to come
one
in.
another. Yes, oh, let us
Love one another.
Let us serve one another. Let us honor one another. One as equals hand in hand. Let us love one another. Let us serve one another. Let us honor one another. One as
High voices.
Let us love one another. Let us serve one another. Let us honor one another. One as equals hand in hand. Let us love one another. Let us serve one another. Let us honor one another. One as understand. Let us love one another. Let us serve one another. Let us honor one another. One as understand. Let us love one another. Let us serve one another. Let us honor one another. One as understand.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look around this space. Wow. Just wow. To those of you who are just joining us, good evening. Our 54th General Assembly. Isn't that amazing? You found your way here. That's amazing. Some of you had more trouble getting here than was worth. But it will be worth having gotten here. And for those of you who are watching online, we're here to do the soul work, the heart work, the deep work of our faith. Are you in? We are so pleased to be with you this evening. Our opening song is the theme of this 54th General Assembly, Building a New Way, written by Martha Sandifer. Ms. Sandifer has played music with Trapezoid, R. Carlos Nakai, John McCutcheon, and Glenn Velez. She recently earned a master's degree in music education with a focus on pedagogy, and is currently a member of the Work of the Weavers Quartet. She is striving to build a new way based on the work and music of the original Weavers Musical Quartet, creating a curriculum. Yes, they are worthy of applause for sure. So she's striving to create a curriculum that brings forward what is good from the past, considering it now in the present, and training musicians of the future. We too have some of that work to do, reflecting on our past honestly, assessing our current state, and preparing for the future. Those are for us to do too. For those of you watching off-site, we're using 1017 in the Teal Hymnal Supplement, singing the journey. As we sing, may we feel the strength and calling in these words. Let us rise in body and or in spirit to sing, Building a New Way.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free
From hate and greed and
jealousy. We are working to be free. We can meet our every need. We can meet our every need. We can meet our every need. Solid love that is the seed. We can meet our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without peace, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. Let's do the first verse again. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. Right.
I now call to order the 54th General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association. Are you ready for a great week in Portland? Are you ready for over 10 hours of music and worship? Are you ready to sample some of the 175 workshops to inspire you and challenge you? Are you tired yet? Are you ready for the witness event on Saturday? How about the 4 hours of evening entertainment? That's a little lighter there. Are you ready to participate in the democratic process as our association conducts its business? There are over 42 hours of programming you could participate in over the next 4 days if you have the stamina for it. Do we have any governance wonks in the audience? Of course we do. If you answer yes to any of those questions, you are in the right place, the Oregon Convention Center in Portland, Oregon. My name is Jim Key, and I'm privileged to serve our association as your moderator and chief governance officer. If this is your first GA, wave your hand. I was with a number of you in the GA orientation this afternoon, and many of you are delegates, I understand. How about if this is your 15th or more General Assembly? All right. How about 25 or more? Ah. How about 35 or more. All right. Well, moderator Davidoff, I recognize from the hand waving. But where are our tellers? Denise Rhymes, where are you? Could you get some names of these people and we'll call them out later, probably tomorrow morning? But those of you that have been here over 35 years, we'd like to recognize you tomorrow. And maybe get you better seats, I don't know. Whether this is your first or 54th, you're going to have a great 4 days. I want to acknowledge the off-site delegates and others who will be participating via live stream and make sure they enjoy the activities as well. The board, the staff, the planning committee have taken notice of previous year's comments and evaluations, so you GA junkies will see some changes as we go through the week. In worship and witness and in our general sessions, formerly known as plenary. We've asked our presenters to link their remarks to this year's theme of Building a New Way. We've also asked them to connect their presentations to our association's Global Ends, or Shared Vision, which hundreds of you have participated in crafting over the past several years, some of you in this hall many years ago. You can find them on page 115 in the program book, and you may have them on paper or in that electronic devices that you carry around. Have you got the UUA app, UUA GA? I encourage you to become familiar with those ends. We'll reference them later. Those are our North Star that is guiding your association into the future. Additionally, we've asked our presenters to challenge us to think about the issues facing this free and liberal faith in this increasingly troubled world and how we might learn from what they share with us. And we hope you enjoy the GA talks that are sprinkled throughout the general sessions, like TED Talks, you know, technology, education, design, those TED Talks many of you subscribe to. Like the TED Talks, we hope they introduce ideas worth spreading. These GA Talks were inspired by an idea from the young adult leadership, and you'll notice they have 4 talks branded as YA at GA. Before I introduce the banner parade, let me suggest you keep your smartphones and tablets handy. We encourage you to tweet if you are so moved, and you might want to use the hashtag UUAGA so others can follow all the comments and pictures you might share this week about what you're experiencing. If you haven't yet downloaded it, you can go to the App Store and download GA UUA General Assembly 2015. You can start on that right now. The banner parade is always a highlight of our first day together. It shows us the creative and artistic ways congregations and other UU organizations choose to represent our values, theologies, our geographies in textiles. Always fun, always energetic. Let the banner parade begin.
can build it with love, build it with peace, build it with happiness. We can build it with hope, we can build it with faith, build it with togetherness. There are roads that divide us in our separate lives. River deep, valley low, and mountain high. We need a bridge between our lives, a bond of understanding for the other side. Build a bridge from me to you, not for the chosen few, but for everyone. Build it with love, we can build it with peace, we can build it with happiness. If we can believe there's nothing we can't achieve, we can overcome the bitterness. Yeah. Just believe it. Come on board, set the sails of hope in motion. Shoot the boat, feel the winds, they change and blow. We need a bridge between our lives, a bond of understanding to stem the tide. Build a bridge from me to you, not for the chosen few, but for everyone. Build it with love, build it with peace, we can build it with happiness. If we learn to believe there's nothing we can't achieve, we can overcome the bitterness. Just believe it. Join me, everybody. A little bit of tenderness. Oh.
We got the power.
Knowledge to grow, the seed for the flower, to reap what we sow. All of the people are working together, all of us equal. No one is better, no power. People, flower, people. We've got the power of the people, flower, people. We need a bridge between our lives, a bond of understanding to stem the tide. Let's build a bridge from me to you, not for the chosen few, but for everyone. Build it with peace, we can build it with happiness. We can learn to defeat hunger and poverty, but it's gonna take togetherness. We can build it with love, we can build it with peace, we can build it with happiness. We can finally defeat hunger and poverty, but it's gonna take togetherness.
You know, there are times when it can feel a little like we don't have much, like the light we have just isn't enough, and it can be lonely. But just take a look around. Look at all that you've got here. Do not forget this. Take this home with you. Relish in it. Sometimes it seems a mystery that through our lives and history, the roles we play keep changing all the time. But maybe if we just begin to find a light that thrives within, we'll find the times are simpler on our minds. There really isn't that much to it, though sometimes we just get through it. It's mostly expectations that let us down. The light we need is in our hands. If we would only understand to keep the flame alive, spread it around. And we'll have one for the world that holds us, one for the teachers who mold us, one for justice for humankind, one for the ties that bind us, one for the love that finds us, dancing down this road that we call life. Sometimes we set ourselves to lose, forget we have a chance to choose. The choice we make may be a different way. In the end it comes together, we have a chance to make it better. Decide to make a difference with each day. Though the lights we hold may not seem much, but if we only keep in touch with all the things that we know are real, together our lights will shine brighter, the path ahead a little lighter. Make something of this turn of the wheel. And we'll have one for the world that holds us, one for the teachers who mold us, one for justice for humankind, one for the ties that bind us, one for the love that binds us, dancing down this road that we call life. Sister, mother, brother, father, they all just words, so do not bother to live your life constrained by certain rules. Celebrate just who you are, follow your path, follow the stars that shine and light the path to your truth. And we'll have one for the world that holds us, one for the teachers who mold us, one for justice for humankind, one for the ties that bind us, one for the love that finds us, dancing down this road that we call life. Seems to me a mystery that through our lives and history, the roles we play keep changing all the time. But maybe if we just begin to find the light that thrives within, we'll find the times are simpler on our mind. There really isn't that much to it, though sometimes we just get through it. It's mostly expectations that let us down. The lights we need is in our hands. If we would only understand to keep the flame alive, spread it around. And we'll have one for the world that holds us, one for the teachers who mold us, one for justice for humankind, one for the ties that bind us, one for the love that finds us, dancing down this road that we call life. Yes, we will dance on down this road that we call life. Oh, we will dance on down this road that we call life. Oh, we are dancing down this road, dancing down this road, dancing down this road that we call life.
How about that? Wasn't that good? You know, I sometimes get the sense that they go out the back and they come back around again, you know? Seems to get longer each year, but it's always fun. It's always beautiful and fanciful banners. I've walked in that banner parade a couple of times myself. It's great fun. Our singular business item for tonight's general session that requires the delegates to vote is the adoption of the rules of procedure for this General Assembly. So those of you who are delegates, start fumbling for those yellow voting cards. You're going to need them in a minute. The proposed rules of procedure can be found on pages 92 through 94 of the final agenda or program book. Those rules will govern our consideration of and voting upon the business items that come before us during our General Assemblies. The rules are largely the same as in previous years. There are a couple of rules that I want to direct your attention to. Please note that Rule 5 provides that no amendments to a business resolution, bylaw change, or rule change will be in order unless submitted for consideration at the mini-assembly for that item. Also, please note that Rule 2 provides that unless the association's bylaws otherwise require, actions on all matters will be decided by an uncounted show of voting cards or by an uncounted standing vote. A vote will be counted only in 2 instances. If there's a doubt about the outcome of a vote, I will call for a count. A count will also be taken if so requested by a delegate and if 99 other delegates join that request. In either instance, the count will be made by the tellers who are present on the floor of the assembly. They are wearing those très chic and highly visible vests. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? There we go. No vest this year? Oh, that's right, it's on the pallet. We've heard about the pallet that's gone missing. Well, anyway, these folks in whatever they'll be wearing will be highly identifiable, I'm sure. But they're volunteers, just like the rest of us, so please treat them with compassion. In addition, Rule 7 provides that separate microphones will be designated as pro and con for discussion of proposed bylaw amendments, rules, resolutions, or actions, and you can see them set up there. The pro microphone is up front on your left, and the con microphone is up front on your right. There's also an amendment microphone which has been placed at the front of the arena over here. I can hardly see it. There we go, spotlight, lovely. And a procedural microphone which has been placed immediately in front of me. Please note that points of personal privilege and points of information must be made from the procedural mic. By the way, only delegates and trustees may speak from the microphones except by express permission of the moderator. Now, this is a challenge because the famous ribbons are on the pallet that has gone missing. So as you know, we have a missing pallet. The ribbons are among the missing. And so this is a good week to practice our theology. We are more than our ribbons. So you will need to bring your voting card to the microphone to show the tellers that you are, in fact, a delegate or a trustee. So I strongly urge those of you who are attending General Assembly general sessions for the first time to read rules of procedure, particularly look at Rule 6 on page 92 of the rules so that you understand the time limits in effect. No person may speak on any motion for more than 2 minutes. 30 minutes is the time allowed for discussion of any proposed bylaw amendment, rule change, resolution, or action in a report that is on or admitted to the final agenda. So, before proceeding with our business, I want to introduce you to Tom Bean, who has slipped on stage, our legal counsel and parliamentarian. So is this all clear? There will be a pop quiz at the general session in the morning. So will the vice moderator make the appropriate motion with respect to the rules of procedure?
Moved that the rules of procedure of this General Assembly, as set forth in full on pages 92 through 94 of the final agenda, be adopted.
Is there a second? Oh, lovely. That always works well. Does anyone want to discuss the rules? There being no time for further discussion of the rules of procedure, discussion is now closed and a vote is in order. All those in favor of adopting the rules of procedure, please do so by raising your voting card. Oh, lovely. We know how to do this. All opposed? I think we have 2/3, but let's wait for the off-site delegates to vote on these rules. The motion carries, and the rules of procedure are adopted. Thank you for your superb help, Mr. Bean. Before I introduce some important volunteers essential to this General Assembly, I want to recognize two special guests. The Honorable Cheryl Kennedy, Councilwoman of the Grand Ronde Tribal Council, is in the House. Where might she be? Very good. Ms. Kennedy is a descendant. Thank you. Ms. Kennedy is a descendant of the Chinookan people, the First Nation of the Lower Columbia River area, where we enjoy tonight's occasion. Also with us is the Honorable Sam Robinson, Vice President of the Chinook Tribal Council. Could you please stand and be recognized? We are pleased to have you both with us. Please welcome Reverend Jennifer Brooks to tell us the important work of the GA chaplains.
Portland General Assembly, warm greetings from your chaplains. I'm Jennifer Brooks, and this year at GA, I'm the lead chaplain for General Assembly, and this is the GA chaplain team. Now, there are many chaplains serving different groups of our constituent assembly, so let me tell you what makes the GA chaplain team unique. We're the chaplains who have been chosen by the GA Planning Committee to be available to everyone on a 24/7 basis. All of our chaplains are UU ministers, and we come from a diversity that we hope reflects the beauty of this gathering. Your GA chaplains offer support in a variety of ways. We'll have morning devotional practices in the meditation room, Conference Center Room D131. That's also a great place to give yourself an important break of silence for meditation, reflection, or prayer during these long days at General Assembly. And if you're in need of spiritual support or pastoral care, every day there are drop-in hours at the chaplain's office in room C121. If you need a chaplain outside of office hours, or the office is a little too far away for you, it's okay just to call the chaplain phone. It's monitored 24/7, so even if it rings to voicemail, leave a message and one of us will get back to you right away. As with last year, the GA chaplains are working closely with your Right Relations team. In fact, our offices are right next door. We know that often a breach of relationship needs both an institutional and a pastoral response. So working with the Right Relations team will seek to meet both of those needs. And now I invite you to say hello to your General Assembly chaplains, Jan Carlson Bull, Alex Holt, Rebecca Montgomery, Maria Cristina Vlasidis Burgoa, and Andrew Weber. All during GA, you'll find us roaming throughout the convention center, and you'll know us by our hats. Look for this bright gold GA logo, UUA logo. And even if you're not needing to talk to us, feel free to pull us aside to say hello or just drop by the chaplain's office. We are here to serve this beloved community.
Thank you, Jennifer. So please welcome the co-chairs of your 2015 Right Relations team, Razik Brown and Mr. Barb Grieve.
Hello. My name is Brown, and I am your Right Relationship team co-leader, along with Mr. Barb Grieve here. I've been a proud Texan for about 20 years, where I've called Fort Worth and the First Jefferson Unitarian Universalist congregation my home. However, I've just been hired by the Central Eastern Region's Congregational Life staff as the soon-to-be Youth and Young Adult Coordinator for the SERG, so soon I'll be based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, enough about me. Let's get to the real stars of this phenomenal team. Mr. Barb Grieve, my better half and co-leader, is the director of the Lifespan Religious Education to the Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church in Walnut Creek, California, the acting chair of the Star King School for the Ministry Board of Trustees, and one of the co-founders of the Transgender Religious Professional Unitarian Universalists Together. Becky Leiser is a third-year seminarian at Star King School for the Ministry. Becky is starting an internship this fall at the UU Church in Livermore, California. Ben Gable currently serves as the office administrator at the Northwest Unitarian Universalist Church in Southfield, Michigan. He is also co-chair-elect for the Journey Towards Wholeness Transformation Committee, as well as a student at Meadville Lombard Theological School. Colleen Murray is our wonderful Youth Caucus peer chaplain. Yeah, all right. Elizabeth Mount is a member of the First Unitarian Society of Denver, a seminarian at Meadville Lombard Theological School, and will be joining the Journey Towards Wholeness Transformation Committee. Hannah Robertsville-Nave is an urban ministry fellow and MDiv student at Wesley Theological Seminary in Washington, D.C. Hannah lives in Baltimore, Maryland, and will be moving to Annapolis, Maryland this August to serve as the ministerial intern at the UU Church of Annapolis. Hope Lobb attends the First Unitarian Society of Denver and is one of the chaplains on this year's GA Youth Caucus staff as well. Yeah. Kristen Famula lives in Truckee, California, and serves the UU Fellowship of the Northern Nevada in Reno as their connections coordinator and director of Create Meaning Northern Nevada, as well as serving as a program leader for the UU College of Social Justice and as president of the National Peace Academy. Lisa Bovey-Kemper is an associate minister at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Asheville and co-founder of the JLC initiative, which seeks to bring advanced care planning, education, and access to Western North Carolina. Phoebe Masterson Eckhart is a student at the Connecticut College and a member of the First Unitarian Universalist Society of San Francisco, California. Stephen Ballesteros is a member of the Board of Trustees and the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tucson and a nominee of this General Assembly election for the UUA Nominating Committee. Tessie Mandeville is a duly ordained and credentialed with Metropolitan Community Churches and the UUA and is a palliative care chaplain at a local hospital in Bellingham, Washington. She soon will be serving as community minister at the Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship. Tomoko Takano is a graduate nursing student and finished her accelerated RN program in San Francisco, California. Tomoko is not attached to a brick and mortar congregation, but to the Church of the Larger Fellowship. Now, if you need us, you can identify the Right Relationship team members by their orange accessories. Team, show the assembly your bling. All right, great. Tomorrow, we will be back here and we'll tell you more about what we do. Until then, remember this simple phrase. If you want to talk about resolving conflict, call us. If you want to talk about how you feel, call a chaplain. They're great. Our number can be found on page 7 of your handy book. All right, now please give one more round of applause to your fabulous 2015 General Assembly Right Relationship team.
Thanks, Razik and the team. And now I'm pleased to welcome Olivia Calvi and Andrea Briscoe, co-deans of the Youth Caucus for this General Assembly.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Briscoe, and I'm from Mainline Unitarian Church in Devon, Pennsylvania.
And my name is Olivia Calvi, and I am from Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church in Canoga Park, California. And we are the co-Youth Caucus Deans of General Assembly 2015. There are over 300 youth at GA this year. We could not be happier sharing our faith with you all, working together to build a new way towards the future.
We would like to formally invite everyone of all ages to share our space in room A105 and 106 of the Convention Center. We'll be hosting workshops and worships all week that you can find in your program book.
And when we say all ages, we really do mean it. We would love to see every one of you share our space throughout GA, working with us to create intergenerational connections.
Youth Caucus staff will be wearing pink bandanas throughout the week. Please come and talk to us if you have any questions, or if you just want to talk, we love doing that too.
Last fall, when Andrea and I began planning for General Assembly, we created a vision statement that we would like to share with you because it helps guide us through the planning process.
We envision GA 2015 as a spiritual gathering and collaboration of a multi-generational community focused on reconnecting to our values and 7 principles.
We envision a place where we strive to adapt our traditions to fit the growing and diverse society of which we are a part.
We hope this vision statement helps you reconnect to our Unitarian Universalist values, reach out across generations, and try something new.
We are so excited to be a presence in this community, and we hope you will join us in celebrating our faith. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea and Olivia. Now please welcome the Reverend Jonathan Rogers and Isla Halberstadt, the co-facilitators of YA at GA.
Hello, GA. I'm Reverend Jonathan Rogers of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta.
And I'm Isla Halberstadt from the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Central Oregon. And we are the co-facilitators for the Young Adults at General Assembly group, now branded as YA at GA.
We could not be more pleased to be y'all's co-conspirators in building a new way. You can identify us and other YA at GA staff throughout the week by looking for these blue bandanas that we will be wearing. You can also find us and help build community with us by coming to room A107, 108, where we'll be hosting programming, worship, and community building sessions all week.
We would like to call your attention particularly to the YA at GA Talks. This will be taking place during programming slots and general session. These dynamic and engaging presentations represent innovative ministries and dynamic and initiatives within our community. They are what building a new way looks like.
YA at GA will continue to collaboratively seek out and promote innovative and inspiring ministries in the years to come. To paraphrase GA Talks presenter Chris Crass, we believe in collective liberation and we believe in our ability to win. Thank you.
Isla and Jonathan, thank you. The GA Planning Committee and Patty Cameron have done a great job over the years in making GA more and more accessible to more and more people. Please welcome Patty Cameron, who is here to tell us about accessibility services at this General Assembly.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper. No doubt you've sung those songs in your congregation. Here at General Assembly, it's our collective role to welcome all. It is our collective role to practice radical hospitality in order to build and sustain a beloved community, a community that includes everyone. those who use mobility equipment, listening devices, interpreters, have chemical sensitivities, assist dogs, or need special seating to accommodate vision and hearing. My name is Patty Cameron, and it's my pleasure to coordinate accessibility services for General Assembly. Our services are available to anyone registered here at General Assembly, and our goal is to provide assistance that allows everyone to participate fully here at GA. While you're here, please pay particular attention as we pass along the halls, navigate the public witness event, and attend workshops together. Move along in the hallways, remembering that people using scooters have no brakes. Please don't stop suddenly to chat, because the person behind you using a scooter is unable to stop suddenly. Please reserve elevators for people with mobility or health needs. We have created a path for people using mobility devices, which allows one-level access from the exhibit area and the hallway outside, in what's known as the Dragon Boat lobby, through this General Session Room, out to the Ginkgoberry lobby so they can access the street level. There are signage, and ushers can show you and help direct you on this path. This path is available during all GA program hours. Let this experience be a teaching opportunity. I hope you will take notice of all the accommodations available and bring these ideas back to your home congregations and become more welcoming, inclusive communities. I invite you to be with one another this week in ways that allow you to practice that radical hospitality. Stretch your comfort zone, enrich your spirit, open your heart a little or a lot, and widen your field as you take in all those around you, whether they walk or ride. We are all part of this General Assembly, one beloved community, a bright, wonderful community of people of all abilities. Be with each other in love. Thank you.
Thanks, Patty, and I echo her call to take this notion of full accessibility and radical hospitality back to your congregations. There being no further business to come before us, in accordance with the schedule set forth in your program book, I declare that this general session of the General Assembly shall stand in recess until 8:15 on Thursday, June 25th, 2015. Please note that tomorrow's session will immediately follow the morning devotional at 8 a.m. Now we move into a period of reflection, worship, and celebration. We invite Katie Sykes, a youth from the Sierra Foothills of California, and Nathan Fraser, a youth from Silver Spring, Maryland, to come forward and light our chalice. This is their first General Assembly.
We kindle this flame, the cup holding us in community, the fuel all possibilities, the spark of inspiration, the space surrounding the flame, our ancestors held in circles of healing and transformative love.
These words come to us from the late Reverend Nancy Schaefer in her poem, Witness. To that place before words know how to say themselves, or thoughts have an inkling they will be born, to that quiet place where the holy dwells, that place before knowing, stillness before form, where tears cannot stop, can find no ending, and crying out fills the sky. Also to that place where the earth first turns, and turning turns to bounty, and we stumble upon hope. Out of love, out of longing, you come. We come this week from yet another place where tears cannot stop. The murder of 9 black people in Charleston last week weighs heavily upon us. We must remind one another that in a world where fear, ignorance, and anger become a racial hatred that kills, in such a world, love matters. We matter. Let us share a moment of silence in memory of those killed in Charleston. And in our silence, let us rededicate ourselves to standing on the side of love.
Hear these words from the Reverend Danny Reed, minister of the Unitarian Church in Charleston. We will never be the same. Charleston will bear the scars of the assault on Mother Emanuel Church, yet we will not be defeated. The work of justice is never ending, and commitment to the beloved community is ever needed. Love will prevail.
We have gathered from near and far, bringing with us a variety of beautiful, sometimes painful and complicated histories. We acknowledge and honor the many ancestors who are part of our collective past, those who have created new ways of being faithful before us, as well as those who had dreams that were not fully realized.
We honor the beautiful, powerful, and vulnerable Earth, with each incredible ecosystem and the magical places in between. We give thanks for the Earth and the millions of species with whom we share life.
This year, our assembly has gathered in the Pacific Northwest, in what is now called the city of Portland. This convention center, where we will do our work this week, resides next to the magnificent Willamette River, originally called the Multnomah, and is the traditional homeland of the Multnomah, Clackamas, and Watauga Chinook people. We acknowledge, honor, and raise our hands to the First Nations people of this land.
We honor our theological ancestors who proclaimed the universal love and unity of the divine, who proclaimed the capacity of humanity, and who experienced awe in the unfolding mystery of life.
We honor the multiplicity of cultural heritages gathered here and that have been a part of Universalist, Unitarian, and Unitarian Universalist traditions. Our ancestors of family, of place, and of our communities.
We honor the artistic leaders of many places and traditions who have offered wisdom, creativity, and opportunities for collaboration. We honor the courageous religious leaders of various faiths who have inspired faithful acts of peace and justice.
We honor those ancestors who found themselves within the margins of our own faith communities, as well as the world at large, who deserved a seat at the table, knowing that many were and still are denied equal access and participation.
We honor all of those who continue to show up even when bias is experienced and micro or macro aggressions occur in our community. We honor the courage it takes to do the work of dismantling systems of oppression in which we have all been schooled. We can build the beloved community that respects diversities of ability, class, race, age, education, and ethnicity, sexuality, language, size, gender, identity, and expression, military status, and family composition.
We honor the children, youth, young adults, older adults, and elders of our past and our present, who over the centuries made the choices and did the work that brought us to this place and to this moment together. We honor all those who are willing to keep learning and growing.
As you breathe in, can you feel the ancestors of this place? The ancestors of our faith? Your family of birth and choice? The leaders of varying identities of our communities? Can you feel it? Can you feel them? In a moment, we will invite the bell, calling us to be present in this moment. As the sound of the bell fades, you are then invited to speak the names of those people who inspire you to be your full, your best self, naming specifically who you want to honor tonight. They might be living or living only in your memory. It is fine for several people to speak at once. It is okay to say the name so softly that only your heart or the divine of your understanding can hear. As the bell fades, let us call those witnesses into this space.
in the presence and the memories and spirits of these many ancestors, as well as the companions with whom we now travel, and aware of our place on this precious, precious planet. At this moment in time, we now invoke the energy that moves in, around, and through us, that calls us to be our best selves. Let us open our hearts and minds with gratitude and wonder.
As we continue to ground in this place now known by many as Portland, we hold the complex truths of both and. There is so much beauty, kindness, compassion, and the urge to care for this earth. And we face ecological disaster, rampant racism, the legacy of the doctrine of discovery that still destroys peoples and nations. This next song was written by one of the loveliest people I've had the pleasure to meet, Joyce Poley, Canadian Unitarian. Joyce let me know that she wrote this song, Keepers of the Earth, to express her gratitude for all that nature gives us, not only as a resource, but as a means of filling our heart and soul. This tiny planet is our sacred home, she says, and we are called to protect it. We can no longer afford the luxury of debating climate justice. I'm going to say that again. We can no longer afford to argue whether or not we need climate justice, whether or not there is climate destruction happening. We can no longer afford the luxury to argue. It's now. It's time. As we sing this song together, with the cloud of witnesses we've called to be with us, may it remind us to heed the call to be keepers. That is, people who keep our covenant to care for one another and the earth. I'm going to sing a line, and I invite you to sing a line back to me. It's a Joyce Poley song, so it's lovely and rather easy to sing because she cares so much about community singing. You can watch the screen for the words. We are blessed by every river. I'll sing, and then if you would sing them. We are blessed by every river. Your turn. We are blessed by every river. My turn. Every river makes us whole. River makes us whole with its riches and its beauty, with its riches and its beauty. Every river feeds our soul. Every river feeds our soul. So when we sing that in just a bit, we'll sing river the first time, we'll sing forest the second time, we'll sing mountain the third time. And our wonderful singers are going to help me sing the second half of this song, just so you can hear it when we get there. That second page, second half, if you would join. And we are called as keepers of the earth. We are called to speak its sacred worth for our children and our children's children. We are called as keepers of the earth. Let us sing together. We are blessed by
Every forest makes us whole with its riches and its beauty. Every forest feeds our soul, and we are called as keepers of the earth, and we are called to speak its sacred word for our children and our children's children. We are called as keepers of the earth. Mountain. We are blessed by every mountain. Every mountain makes us whole with its riches and its beauty. Every mountain feeds our soul.
I believe that something absolutely and mountainously strong resides within the soul of each of us. Hello, and tender greetings, my dear and honest friends. It is good to be together. We have come from across the country and from around the world, and we make within this city a humble altar. And high upon this altar we do place an offering, and we gather dear and loved ones to our side to witness that cathedral of our presence happening, and to sanctify this moment in our lives as if raising hands to hold a gentle breeze. We build the cathedral ourselves. We used to build it with stone and wood, but now we build it with blood and bone, with bodies and with our hearts and with our minds. We come together and something magical happens. We see ourselves in one another and we remember that we've come home. So hello and tender greetings. It's good to be together. Can we just take a moment and breathe? Take a moment to breathe deeply and to slow down. Can we become fully present in this place? And can we send roots down into the earth and be nurtured by Oregon ground enough to help us to open up our hearts and to flower? It's not that hard. Alice Walker taught me how to do it in her writing. She taught me about a woman named Katie Talking Tree, a woman who practiced walking meditation. As Alice Walker explains, and I quote, "Up and down the path that led from the front door to the hall, they did a walking meditation that had been taught them by a lot of different Buddhist teachers, some from America, some from Asia, and it was a slow, graceful meditation that she liked. She enjoyed the feeling of heel touching earth long before a toe did, followed it." Alice Walker reminded me that meditation takes time and that life takes time. So let's slow down and live. I have to slow down. My life depends on it. When I don't slow down, I get really caught up in the things that have been happening around me. I get caught up in what happened in Ferguson and in Sanford, Florida, where Trayvon Martin walked with tea and Skittles. I get caught up in what happened in Cleveland and caught up with the deaths of Tanisha Anderson and Tamir Rice and Eric Garner in Staten Island and Rekia Boyd in Chicago and what happened to Miriam Carey in Washington, D.C. and to Freddie Gray in beloved Baltimore. And I ball my fists and I clench my teeth and my chest gets tight from shallow breathing and I close down and I forget what Alice Walker was teaching: to sit down with the redwoods, for they know time better than we do. To wake up early in the morning and to greet the day and live it long. To walk gently on the earth. Alice Walker explains that we have in the very title of the book that I quoted earlier, now is the time to open up your heart. Now, the first time I came to the Northeast, the first time I saw that famous mountain with my own eyes, I was surprised. I was surprised. She seemed almost calm, much more resolved than I thought she'd be, even after all of this time. 35 years ago, on 18th of May in 1980, she erupted in violence and catastrophe. She darkened the sky, and she took the lives of 57 people, including 83-year-old Harry Truman. She overwhelmed herself with her force, with her own power. She stomped her feet in anger on the earth until it quaked beneath them. 5.1 on the Richter scale. She threw 3 cubic kilometers of earth into the heavens or down the mountain like an earthen tidal wave. And what remained of her peak, of her summit, was 1,300 feet lower than it had been the day before. And she made a mile-wide crater in a matter of minutes and sent a vertical plume of ash 16 miles into the sky. And I thought to myself, reflecting honestly, I've had days like that. I have been so caught up in the tensions of American life that I too have stomped my feet, and I too have quaked the earth, and I too have darkened the sky for those around me. And yet, there she was. She seemed almost calm, much more resolved than I thought she'd be. How quickly beautiful life returned to her. Of course it did. She found an honest way to the gifts of forgiveness. Forgiveness being that precious agreement to see the world as it actually is. The mountain that we in this culture have come to know as Mount St. Helens figured out what she believed about life, and she looked for beauty with her own eyes, and she opened up her heart. Do you know what you believe about life? Can you see the beauty in the world that is within you, especially when you're all caught up in the world? I know what I believe. I believe that something absolutely and mountainously strong resides within the soul of every one of us. I still believe in the mountain that erupted years ago. She helped me to open my heart in spite of everything and because of everything. I still believe in a mountainous volcano that lost itself in its own violent rage. And I believe in looking out up into the open depths of my own soul and in flying with both feet in Portland. Would you sing that with me? Would you try that? It goes like this. I still believe in a mountainous volcano. Would you try that? I still believe in a mountainous volcano that lost itself in its own violent rage, that lost itself in its own violent rage. And I believe in looking out up into the open depths of my own soul. And I believe in looking out up into the open depths of my own soul, and in flying with both feet in Portland, and in flying with both feet in Portland. Don't believe in angels. I'm too busy falling from the heavens myself, tripping on my own wings, tripping on my own wings. Don't believe in miracles when there's still this much going wrong with the world. Eyes on the mirror of yesterday. Don't believe that Jesus would be very pleased with how I keep falling down. Would be very pleased about these tears in my heart and how I can't quite keep my feet on the ground. But I still believe in a mountainous volcano that lost itself in its own violent rage. And I believe in walking out up into the open depths of my own soul, and in flying with both feet in Portland. I don't believe in cocaine or any serum I can melt in a spoon, tripping on my own wings, tripping on my own wings. I don't believe in bad dreams when my youngest daughter lay asleep in my arms, rising like this day's youngest light. And I don't believe in violence or in these sorrows that I keep on the shelf, impossible anger that I fire at you, invisible arrows that I aim at myself. But I still believe in a mountainous volcano that lost itself in its own violent rage. And I believe in walking out up into the open depths of my own soul, and in flying with both feet in Portland. I don't believe in angels. I'm too busy falling from the heavens myself, tripping on my own wings and rising, rising.
Once there was, and once there wasn't, a gathering of wise, caring, and imperfect people. They came to learn, to share, to be inspired, and to remember that they are connected in impossibly beautiful ways. They came together because their own souls needed it, and because the problems in the world were far too large for any one small group to be able to solve on their own. They gathered near the confluence of the Willamette and the Columbia rivers, and not far from mountain ranges that included two incredible mountains, one whose peak was tall and majestic, and one who had lost her top in a powerful eruption. Both mountains were beautiful. The people gathered, each holding a box, which contained the experiences that had shaped them over the past year, as well as their shining hopes for their time together. The boxes held the remnants that they had carried with them over time, their histories and their memories. These boxes, though not particularly large, felt heavy. So much was unclear. It had been a year with horrible racial injustice. Possibly not more injustice than other years, but it had been made more visible, even to those who could normally avoid noticing it. Their boxes were full of things that mattered, some as large as an ocean, and some as huge as forgiveness. For most, the small and large things they had done were what they wanted to share with each other with pride in this time of coming together. These were the successes and hopes that were shiny and beautiful. These were the things that might just be part of the new way that they hoped to build. The boxes held their questions, their yearnings, and the aspirations that they carried with them from their communities at home. The boxes also held their fears, their heartbreak, and their losses. They contained their disappointments, their anger, and their resentments. While some who had gathered planned on sharing these openly, others preferred to keep them tucked away as they felt too tender, too gritty, too unpredictable to bring out of the box. And these wise, caring, and imperfect people talked and listened. They worshiped and contemplated. They attended workshops. They met from early in the morning until late at night, with hope that a new way would become clear. Some wanted to just start building to see what they could create. Others wanted to know what they would be building before they began. It felt a bit like planning a road trip where no one knew which map they were using, which vehicle they were taking, or who was driving. There were wise ones of many ages present who had been part of building new ways before. They suggested that knowing which tools and materials you have and agreeing on which ones you will use can be important. And so, as the rivers flowed by and the shadows of the mountains lengthened across the land, the people opened their boxes and began to share what they had brought. They gently reminded one another to leave their judgment and triviality at the door and to be together with open hearts and minds. They shared their shiny and beautiful successes and their imaginings for the way things could be. When all of these were laid out in the open, one of the wise, caring, and imperfect people asked a courageous question. What if all the things that are harder to share are necessary tools for the new way that we hope to build? What if being willing to be honest about the most gritty, sharp, and tender things will make the biggest difference? And so they committed to themselves and to one another to do the hard and risky work of sharing honestly and deeply, of listening to understand, of giving up the need to be right. And they shared their hurts and their disappointments, their frustrations and their resentments. They shared honestly without aiming their sharp truths to wound, yet knowing that truth can sometimes still be painful to hear. And when some were afraid that their anger would be overwhelming, they remembered the mountain who had lost her top and yet remained powerful and impossibly beautiful. And they shared and listened from the open depths of their souls. And the wise, caring, and imperfect beings saw themselves and one another in a new way. They saw that they were whole in their brokenness, fierce in their vulnerability, and able to hold complex truths in more powerful ways than they had ever imagined. And they looked at their stories, shiny, gritty, and impossibly beautiful. They breathed in connection, creativity, and forgiveness that was swirling through them and around them. Sometimes they continued to trip on their own wings. They felt the love that held them, and together, with each voice being heard, they set about choosing what to keep, what to forgive, what to let go of, and then to building a new way. On this first night of General Assembly, let us open ourselves to the wisdom that is all around us. Will you join me in the spirit of prayer, followed by quiet reflection? You might close your eyes if that is available to you, or if you prefer to just soften your gaze. Holy One, great mystery, divine presence, the still small voice within, humankind, we gather together in your presence and in the presence of the cloud of witnesses we've invoked. There has been some good, some beauty, some incredible love this year, and yet we humans have also made a mess of things. We have sometimes fallen short of our aspirations. We've broken covenants, made mistakes. We've hurt people in our lives. We've acted without accountability, or we've failed to act because we are afraid and confused. May we learn to make amends and have the courage to apologize. May we be willing to forgive, to release ourselves and one another from what hooks us. May we build respectful relationships and care for the earth before it is too late. May we learn to begin again in love. May it be so. Let us sit briefly in the quiet together, even as the sounds of life go on in and around us. Consider what it might be like if we sat down together with our boxes, and then with humility and vulnerability shared our heart's contents, with each voice being valued, choosing what to keep, what to forgive, what to let go of, and committing to building a new way.
Hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush. Hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord, what shall I do?
Who are we called to be?
What are we called to do in this broken and beautiful world?
What? What shall we do? What must we do? The three of us met in seminary. In our first semester in our class, Educating to Counter Oppressions, the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker asked our incoming class to daily say a prayer for one another. And we had some awesome classmates to prepare for. The three of us, each called to ministry in very different ways, from very different lives, with broken and wide open hearts sharing the same prayer.
There is a love holding me.
There is a love holding all that I love.
There is a love holding all.
There is a love holding us.
There is a love holding all that we love.
There is a love holding all.
We
rest in this love.
I learned this prayer from a dear friend who had learned it from Dr. Parker. It came to me as a gift during a time when I needed to pray it. And I did each morning as I walked. And as I prayed it, I began to sing it, first in my head and then aloud. And then I realized that the melody I was singing built upon itself harmonically, phrase by phrase, in much the same way that the prayer expands from me to all that I love, to all, from us to all that we love, to the all. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love.
is a love. There's a lot of love in this room as you sing.
We rest in this love.
Might you quietly just look around the room if that's available to you, or simply listen around the room. Feel around the room. Those of you online, feel the presence beyond these walls as we rest in this love.
We rest in this love. We rest in this love. We rest in this love. We rest in this love.
Bless.
Blessing.
Blessed.
So many thoughts crowd my mind.
So many thoughts crowd my mind.
Tripping on our own wings, we became fast friends. Music making, burrito eating, theologizing, memorizing, hypnotizing, mesmerizing, then downsizing the patriarchy. And the influence of white supremacy that tries to divide you from me. Healing the wounds inflicted by a racist society. There is so much more to feel and see. The complexity, tenacity, and ferocity of this.
Of this.
Of this.
We gather from all over the place, online and in this space, and now these beautiful faces. And it's just for one reason. Finding us in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, she says.
You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves.
Mary Oliver knows the reason.
The Reverend Bill Sinkford assesses that we've only begun to imagine justice and mercy.
Reverend Sinkford knows too.
The Reverend Michael J. Matthews reminds us to strive to be prophets to the resistance and not chaplains of the empire.
Reverend Michael Ray Matthews knows. Sometimes we lose our way, forget our worth, lose our dignity, argue about things mere triviality. While people are losing their lives, see, then the bell rings. And Professor Bell Hooks calls us to higher ground, and she says,
forgiveness and compassion are always linked.
How do we hold people accountable for wrongdoings and yet at the same time remain in touch with their humanity enough to believe in their capacity to be transformed?
Bell Hooks knows the reason. We bright sun-shirted people of many stripes, the side of love which is all sides, dragon fierce, tender-hearted. We've got to get this evolution started. Ben, Ben, qual eris, Ben, come with your wild imaginings of a better world. The Reverend Leslie Takahashi invites us and knows the reason, she says.
All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been are with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create.
For the world we raise our voices. for the home that gives us birth.
No tengas miedo a cambiar. Don't be afraid of some change.
Mystery through our lives and history, dancing down the road, live the life that thrives within, to keep the flame alive, spread around.
If Cornel West is right, he puts it, that justice is what love looks like in public, then we must love. We must love publicly, we must love wisely, and we must love well. We must restore beauty and somehow do it right out loud. It will be the hardest thing, but we will do it anyway. In the midst of greatest sorrow and irretrievable loss, we will reach for the beauty and we will succeed. We cannot afford to settle for anything less. Not for the pablum of the media, not for our own pretenses. We need sacrament and not sanctimony at this time. We must enter a higher state of public consciousness and dispel the illusion of separation. We are connected, and together we will grow soul-rich enough to get beyond our sadness, beyond our sorrow, and beyond our fear. The fires of Ferguson, the fires of Baltimore force us to look unflinchingly at what is real, to seek justice and to do this work together. We must be, as Matthew teaches, as wise as serpents and as gentle as doves, for the fires of Ferguson and Baltimore are burning in our hearts. And burning far more recently, far more tragically, are the fires in the hearts of those who live in Charleston, South Carolina. The pain is unspeakable, unfathomable, unbearable, until one manifests faith enough to find forgiveness, just as Nadine Collier did, even though she had just lost her mother, Ethel Lance, only days earlier, to violence and to a murderous rage. And I can tell you right now that I can't do it. Not the whole of me, at any rate. I'm not strong enough yet, but I'm trying. I am opening to the possibility of deeper faith.
The spirit of our humanity depends on our courage. May we inspire it in one another. We can't wait another moment because we can't wait another moment. Because finding ourselves in a world of oppression, it's time to get to the business of confession. Rather than abusing the earth and each other for our obsession of having, of wanting, the death of species across the globe is haunting. And to undo capitalism is daunting, but the myth is unraveling. Trickle-down economics leaves us groveling for a few crumbs rather than marveling at the gifts we have right here. First Nations people's wisdom so near. Share what we have because it become so clear that the way forward means we walk, we move toward trouble. Open our hearts. Be vulnerable. Take down what keeps us separate, because I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel a little desperate, brokenhearted, tender spirit. Black Lives Matter. Are you feeling it? I hope you'll join us in a prayer of peace, knowing a love that does not cease to hold us. But we have to love, and we have to trust. We have to change. We can. We must. Let's start a new obsession by uttering a true confession that we have all contributed to oppression. And now it's time to learn the lesson that you and me need to start professing, that we need one another, and I'm not lying and I ain't guessing. This year's truth. So we can't be messing around. Got to honor this ground, travel gently on Mother Earth. We have got to actually demonstrate our inherent worth. The insistence on industrial growth is sin, treating each other with racism instead of as kin, mending, healing, beyond and also within, reasoning and beyond reason, Universalist Unitarians. Tailor it swiftly, because just think while you've been getting down and out about the liars and the dirty, dirty cheats of the world, you could have been getting down to this.
sick beat.
Love.
Love for all life.
Love big enough to hold our mistakes and our forgiveness.
Love deep enough to hold us when we risk being a fool, when we yearn for authentic connection.
Love wide enough to hold us as we grow and change and expand and truly serve all life.
Love strong enough to face down our demons, turn enemies to allies, swords into plowshares.
Love bold enough to be vulnerable, teachable, humble.
Love long enough to sustain us through the bending the arc of the moral universe toward justice.
Love reflective enough to consider our past, keep what is good, heal what is broken, and then with the rest, let it go.
Let us consider how to deconstruct what isn't working.
Imagine what we might build that is a blessing.
And build that new way together.
Now. Or in the words of Indian author Arundhati Roy, another world is not only possible, she's on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing.
May we rest and move in this love.
May we dance and story in this love.
May we build and build in this love.
Salam.
Salam.
Shalom.
Salam.
Salam.
Shalom.
Namaste.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Amen.
Blessed be.
Ashe.
Namaste.
Amen.
Blessed be.
Blessed.
And blessed be.
Our closing song tonight was shared at the closing of Justice GA in 2012 by composer Melissa Monforti. We are grateful for her generosity in allowing us to use this song tonight in keeping with our theme of building a new way. Jeff Chamberlain and the GA Band are going to help us out on this. The words will be on the screen. Let's rise in body and spirit to sing Hand in Hand.
Jump on.
Here we go.
Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home.
This house is built on love. This house is built on faith. This house is gonna stand for good forever and a day. Come on down this path with me to the place where the road ends. Beyond, beyond, beyond. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. People gonna see us speaking out. People gonna see us holding strong. Everybody gonna sing out loud. Come on, sing along. Come on down this path with me to the place where the road ends. Beyond, beyond, beyond. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. It's the church of the open heart. It's the church of the loving mind. It's the church of the helping hand. Everybody plays a hand. Come down this path with me to the place where the road ends. Beyond, beyond, beyond. Hand in hand. but you love me the way that I am. Promise me you'll keep showing up again and again and again. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home.
Building a new way. Building a new way includes being aware of the needs of all, making every place accessible. If you are a person who uses assisted devices or just needs more time to navigate your way out of the hall, we invite you and your companions or assistants to make your way toward the exits, singing as you go. If you are a person who is currently able-bodied, please stay with us for a few more minutes of singing, allowing the pathways to be accessible and soon to follow those leading us out.
May you sleep well tonight and dream of building new ways together.
Go forth and make this a great General Assembly.
See you tomorrow bright and early at 8 a.m. for our morning devotional right here in this room.
Blessed be and amen.
Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. This house is built on love. This house is built with faith. This house is gonna stand for good forever and a day. Come on down this path with me to the place where the road ends. Beyond, beyond, beyond. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. People gonna see us speaking out. People gonna see us holding strong. Everybody gonna sing out loud. Come on, sing along. Come on down this path with me to the place where the road ends. Beyond, beyond, beyond. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home.
All right. For those of you who are still making your way out and want to sing a little more, we're going to do the Love One Another that we practiced earlier. All right. 2, 3, 4.
Bottom part. Michael. Michael.
We got love one another.
Let us love, let us serve, let us honor one another. Yes, so let us love, oh, let us serve, let us honor one another. Yes, so let us love, let us serve, let us honor one another. Yes, so let us love, let us serve, let us honor one another. Yes, so let us love, let us serve, let us honor.
People are trying to get your attention.
Yes, so let us love one another.
Build it.
Let us honor one another.
It's just ending with a build it. Be done.
Let us serve one another. Let us honor one another.
Got it.
Let us love one another. Let us serve.
We aren't running well. Okay. That's it. It's good to have that information.
Let us serve one another. Let us honor one another. Yes, Lord. Let us love one another. Let us serve one another.
John Bowman. There's Robert.
Let us honor one another.
Jump in the boat. We gotta hear you sing.
What's up?
We gotta do Build It With Love. We gotta do Build It With Love. Build it?
Hi. Awesome. Yes.
What's that?
Yes.
We can end on Build It With Love?
Awesome.
What's going on? Okay, cool.
You are doing a lovely job of exiting the hall, and the ushers would like to request that you continue to do so promptly, as they do need to close the hall. So please take your celebrations with you to your hotels and enjoy your evening somewhere other than the hall. Have a good one.